For millennia, human survival has been constrained by a biological limit, the speed of our sensory observation. We only react when threats become physically visible. Our entire civilization is built on a reactive posture. Our emergency systems, medical diagnostics, and disaster responses are designed to trigger only after a crisis has already breached our defenses. Artificial intelligence changes this equation. It introduces a computational layer of protection that operates across temporal and spatial scales that bypass the limits of human cognition. Look at how this alters the timeline of a crisis. Traditional infrastructure waits for the physical spike, the heart attack, the earthquake, the fire. Anticipatory architecture analyzes the environment to flag subtle microfluctuations long before that visible spike materializes. By acting as a synthetic sensory layer, these algorithms extract predictive truth from data that registers as pure random noise to human observers. To measure this transition objectively, we can benchmark traditional human performance against AI models across 3 different scales: years, months, and seconds. Preserving life is no longer about responding to the visible. It depends on our ability to compute the invisible. In the clinical environment, traditional medicine relies on the physical manifestation of symptoms. It is a point-in-time assessment of existing damage. Take cardiovascular disease. Standard screening methods for heart failure frequently fail to detect early cardiac dysfunction, leaving patients undiagnosed until late-stage symptoms appear. The introduction of AI-driven analysis for standard 12-lead electrocardiograms introduces a new diagnostic variable. The Anumana ECG AI algorithm specifically targets left ventricular dysfunction. Instead of waiting for active failure, it hunts the ECG waveforms for subclinical electrical changes that precede failure by years. This table shows the model's performance. The Anumana algorithm achieved high-precision risk identification. Integrated into established equations, the AI reclassified individuals into high-risk categories previously invisible to clinicians, patients over 20 times as likely to develop heart failure within 3 years. Moving to oncology, the historical limitation of aggressive screening has been the surge in false positives that trigger unnecessary invasive biopsies. The 2025 Masai breast cancer study benchmarked AI against the baseline of traditional screening, which relies on double reading by human radiologists. This chart illustrates the results from over 100,000 randomized patients. AI-supported screening increased total cancers detected by 29% compared to human readers. The system identified 24% more early-stage cancers, while reducing radiologist workload by 44%. Crucially, the AI achieved these sensitivity gains with 0 increase in false alarms. This maps to lung cancer detection, where the Sybil AI model processes a single low-dose CT scan to project a patient's lung cancer risk 6 years into the future, regardless of whether a nodule is currently visible. In the clinical setting, separating trajectories of disease from benign noise at the subclinical level buys physicians years of intervention time. We see a similar compression in pharmacology. The traditional pipeline is defined by Eroom's law. Drug discovery becomes exponentially slower and more expensive over time. Today, bringing a single therapy to market costs over $2.8 billion, restricted by a 90% failure rate in clinical trials. Generative AI shifts this process, replacing physical laboratory synthesis with in silico computational development. In 2025, Rentosertib became the first drug to reach clinical proof of concept, where both the biological target and the molecule were designed entirely by generative AI. This chart compares the traditional pipeline timeline against the AI-accelerated process. The duration from discovery to phase 1 readiness dropped from an average of 5 years to under 18 months. As the data indicates, this massive acceleration was achieved at approximately 10% of the traditional research and development cost. This velocity is possible because models like AlphaFold 3 solved the computational challenge of protein folding, allowing researchers to simulate molecular dynamics instantly. AI acts as a computational catalyst, engineering life-saving molecules in months instead of decades. When we move to the geophysical scale, the margin for survival compresses from years and months down to a matter of seconds. Traditional earthquake early warning systems wait for seismic waves to reach physical sensors, which frequently leads to an underestimation of massive ruptures. The European AI Warning Project in Peru corrects this by deploying multi-messenger algorithms that process separate data streams simultaneously. Instead of waiting for physical tremors, these models detect prompt elastogravity signals, changes in the gravitational field traveling at light speed, outrunning the quake. This table illustrates the operational advantage. By combining gravity, seismic, and GPS data, the alert lead time moves from seconds to theoretical minutes. In tsunami-prone regions, gaining minutes of warning time allows for mass evacuation rather than a reactive scramble. Zooming in to 911 dispatch centers, we see the same dynamic in micro-emergencies. During a cardiac arrest, survival rates drop nearly 10% for every minute that passes without intervention. The Cordi AI system audits emergency calls in real time, analyzing background noise and speech cadences that a human dispatcher might miss under stress. This comparison details the performance. By capturing audio signals that escape human attention, the AI identifies cardiac events with higher consistency. On average, the machine learning system recognizes cardiac arrest 28 seconds faster than the human dispatcher. In a biological crisis, 28 seconds is a critical window, allowing the dispatcher to provide immediate CPR instructions to bystanders while the ambulance is still en route. Whether tracking tectonic plates or human voices, the capability remains the same, extracting objective truth from chaos fast enough to alter the outcome. We have mapped its transition across 3 specific scales: predicting disease over years, synthesizing drugs in months, and reacting to disasters in seconds. These are not isolated upgrades. They are distinct nodes in a unified framework, anticipatory infrastructure. Across separate domains, the underlying mechanism is identical. These systems scan high-dimensional data to isolate predictive patterns that human sensory limits cannot process. We are moving away from a history defined by waiting for visible symptoms toward a framework grounded in mathematical foresight. This technology shifts the point of intervention from the moment of physical impact to the window of computational anticipation. Survival no longer depends solely on the speed of human reflex. It is becoming a matter of how effectively we can compute a threat before it arrives.